I think I'm proud of what I'm seeing our generation turn into, right? I think we are reaching a place where conformity and oppressive systems and injustices and we're going through a period of just enlightenment of just a I think almost an altruistic and servitude awakening, right? In the sense that like statistically now one of the highest rates of things that young adults who are moving into corporations say that they need is a corporation that has actually a purpose behind it. That was not necessarily the case 20, 30, 40 years back. That statistic is new. That need is new. So companies now have to align themselves with being either green conscious, or they have to have some sort of purpose, because that is now what matters to us, right? And I think you can see that in how quickly we're able to mobilize and connect and communicate. You're looking at like the kids in Hong Kong. We're looking at the kids in Black Lives Matter. We're looking at Nigeria right now. We're looking at it literally almost everywhere in the world. Is our generation now that's at the front and pushing that. We're pushing for climate change. We're holding our leaders accountable to we're holding our leaders accountable to be able to promise us that they too are dedicated to making sure that the future of this planet that we're on is being secured in policies that take care of that right now. We're questioning things, and I think that's a beautiful thing to see from our generation.
Yeah, that is absolutely encouraging, right? To see the overwhelming wave be um, questioning
Yeah.
institutions, questioning structures, questioning pre-established norms. I love that. I hope,
Yeah.
especially when we speak about corporations' involvement in this, and so this is maybe an entire episode to itself, but we've towed the line of defunding the police and the abolition of police. I think the next tough conversation is, well, can capitalism as a whole,
Mm.
not the single capitalist, but can capitalism as a whole be used as a key pillar of a society that is fair to all people, right? And
Yeah.
I think that how that ties into this question is very much like holding corporations not even accountable, because I don't even want to put accountability on the corporations, but forcing corporations to take into account feels better, even if it's semantics, right? Take into account what is right and what is ethical regards to both like their processes and materials in regards to like
Mhm.
who they're selling to and what they're selling to people. um let's demand that and not be fooled by anything that's performative. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want no
Yeah.
goddamn Black Lives Matter Oreo, right? Like, let's make sure that, and in the infrastructure of Nabisco and that corporation, that their hiring practices all the way up to the executive suite
Mhm.
are really with it. You know what I mean? Don't give me no, Travis
Dunk,
Scott
dunk,
burger.
dunk the dunk the racism away. Split the difference.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's an interesting conversation to be had about the extent to which bending towards positivity is bending capitalism away from the way that it naturally goes. But God damn it, I'm getting somebody knocking on my door. Hold on.
All right, hold on. Tell him to come to the pod.
Dark days, dark days.
Y'all don't deserve that. Y'all don't deserve that. I'm gonna save that for the banger war. You said something before we got cut. Is there space in capitalism for equality for everybody?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That works.
I think there can be. I think there can be. And I actually think we're moving towards that direction. I think you're seeing a lot of people speak through a lot of people the consumer power. People are realizing their consumer power and the direction to more socially um, driven. The It's like more socially conscious objectives that corporations must have. We're determining that. You see that in the increase in green bonds that are coming about, right? These different bonds that are now becoming popular and being able to incentivize people to convert into green energy. You see that in these social impact investing and social impact funds that are coming up. People are now saying, listen, I only want to invest in things that are that have a social impact value to it. The return on what that is lessening for me. That's not about to be like a 200 $300 billion industry in no time. Just that whole social impact investing thing. A lot of private equities and a lot of these companies are switching into saying private equities and venture capitals are switching into saying this is specifically for social impact. The Harlem Capital, which is a group of these young Black boys in New York who are brilliant, they have a VC. They started a VC recently, a venture capital recently that's just investing in female-owned Black startups. That's it. That's all that they do, and they're getting support from that. So it's a beautiful thing to see that move in that direction. I think that capitalism has space for that, but we have to confront our guilt, our greed. We have to confront our greed, and we have to accept the fact that a lot of people do not reap the same. A lot of people in that value chain of capitalism do not reap the same benefits as the end consumer. And if we can focus on making sure that those people are also equally compensated, then I think the dark aspect of globalization can finally like minimize itself. And that dark aspect being things are too like it's just you have to produce in mass, and you have to maintain very very low overhead. So you have to exploit people in order to keep those prices low and compete.
And you think that that consumers are starting to care enough to demand that corporations don't exploit? Because
Definitely.
I think the difficult balance is, if to the point that you made about the highest up executives of these corporations, once they start turning head turning profits, um that it doesn't the end consumer, as well as the the worker, the worker that works in manufacturing or at the lowest level of these corporations, doesn't get compensated in the same way. I think the trick to capitalism, and that the capitalists that have been successful will always fight against, is how do you it's many would argue that it's impossible to redistribute that wealth to the people on the lower level of that pyramid, right? The people who are working, the end consumer, and the base factory worker, whatever that looks like in this day and age, right? People aren't working in factories, they're working in offices, cubicles, whatever, without disincentivizing the capitalists in the first place, right? The reason the capitalist is driven to build this empire, to create, is to finally is for that gap in the amount of benefits that they can receive, the amount of capital that they can receive, that they don't that they get to decide what the trickle effect is, right? So it's hard to talk about redistributing that wealth when the people at the top most often feel like they deserve every bit of it that they give themselves.
Yeah, and then the whole concept of at least the movements behind enlightened capitalism is under that premise, right? Is that capitalism can definitely that you can have a system of capitalism that is focused on being able of to take care of people. I'm not sure if we've spoken about this on this podcast before, but companies such as Unilever, when it first started, Unilever now is like, the big conglomerate that stretches across pretty much every single hair food brand, essentially, right? Unilever controls that. At its beginning core, they were directly focused on being able to incentivize and pay equal pay and development of communities that they work in. Same thing with Body Shop. Same thing with Cadbury chocolates. Cadbury chocolates, in fact, created an entire city on the city for around the factory for the people that would work there, right? So that concept is not necessarily unheard of or impossible. It just really does take enlightened consumers and not just the enlightened capitalists as well. I think it has to be a balance between both, and I think we're heading in that direction. It's quite interesting to see, actually.
I hope so. That's a world I would like to live in, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
Another world I'd like to live in is a world where I can get a Kendrick Lamar album. I know that.
Bruh.
I know that. I just saw a title right now saying that he's dropping an album soon. I believe with the quotes from Punch. Soon.
Hey, bruh. If it really came from Punch, then I mean, it doesn't mean nothing. But until we get it, not an episode will go by, Mr.
Another episode will go.
Not an episode will go by, Mr. Dot. We here.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Man, listen, what you want to get into?
Yeah.
What you
I
want?
mean, we've got a list. Let's revert back to the list. I think we did a solid job for freestyling. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
as
No
as
doubt.
natural as our conversations usually go.
A little drift spirituality, a little, the existentialism of capitalism, whatever.
Police brutality.
Mhm.
Miles is not Bill Cosby. We hope.
Had to say we hope. Couldn't
We hope.
couldn't left it. You gotta be lazy.
What's
nigga.
our What's our list saying? What's our